Today let us discuss on the branches of anthropology. As introduction, anthropology, the study of man, is the detailed and comprehensive study of humankind in all times and places. It includes everything that has to do with a human being, past and present, far and near. Basically, it is divided into four broad branches. These are socio-cultural anthropology, physical anthropology, archaeological anthropology, and linguistic anthropology. Each branch may have a distinct approach, but all of them gathered and analyzed data that are essential to explaining similarities and differences among humans in time and space. Moreover, applied anthropology within all the four branches applies the anthropological knowledge to solve the practical problems faced by mankind all over the world. Now, let us see about the socio-cultural anthropology. It is a major branch of anthropology that concerns with human culture and society. While society's presence is attested at subhuman level, culture is exclusively a human phenomenon. Broadly speaking, it concentrates on the life patterns of people. It develops as a science of socio-cultural similarities and difference with no limitations of time and space. In the beginning, it studies only among the pre-literate people, but now it entertains no such limitations. Earlier, till about the first quarter of the 20th century, the term social or cultural anthropology was not popular. Rather, it was ethnology. Today, it is a main component of socio-cultural anthropology. Ethnology is the cross-cultural research for developing anthropological theories, and it is based on ethnography, which is a detailed description of a particular people through fieldwork. Later, the terms cultural anthropology in America and social anthropology in Britain became popular. In America, a tradition of study of whole culture was developed, while in Britain, the comparative study of social structure was considered to be the subject matter of social anthropology. Levi-Strauss says that cultural anthropology and social anthropology are like two books which include the same chapters, though the latter may be arranged in different order and the number of pages in each may vary. So, socio-cultural anthropology is referred to this branch of anthropology. Under socio-cultural anthropology, several sub-branches with specialization have emerged, such as economic anthropology, political anthropology, psychological anthropology, anthropology of religion, ecological anthropology, anthropology of war, urban anthropology, visual anthropology, etc. We shall overview these sub-branches of major interest. Number 1, economic anthropology. The foremost task of economic anthropology is to describe the diverse economic systems. But economic anthropologies concentrate mainly on the economic activities in non-literate and peasant societies. So, economic anthropology has the task of describing, ordering, and explaining the range of human economic organization. Among the economic anthropologies, there are two broad divisions, namely the formalists and substantivists. That is, those who feel that the theories formulated in the discipline of economic are equally sufficient in explaining the economic process in simple societies, and those who counter by arguing that the economy of each society is embedded in the bed of culture, and so the economic theories that have been constructed with the modern monetized systems is not suitable among simple societies. Political anthropology. It concentrates on the ambiguity of political process and the functions of legitimate authority, law, justice, and sanctions in simple societies. It focuses on the anthropological point of view in the formulation of typology of political structure based on differences and similarities observed among different societies of the world and political process emerging among various societies. Moreover, it also studies political culture and nation building processes. Psychological anthropology. It is the study of cross-cultural variations in psychological traits. It studies psychological, behavioral, and personal approaches of man. It develops as an interdisciplinary approach between psychology and socio-cultural anthropology. Modern psychological anthropologists are very much interested in the process by which culture is transmitted from one generation to the next. Ecological anthropology. The term ecology refers to the totality of relations between environment and organism. It deals with the relationship between human beings and their environments. It is the use of the concept of environment in the explanation of different cultural elements and also the diversity of cultural groups. Two main views related to cultural behavior and environment are determinism and possibilism. The former, also called environmentalism, states that environment dictates cultural practices, whereas the latter denies and holds that environment has a limiting rather than the determining effect on cultural behaviors. The next, anthropology of religion. There are many theories regarding the origin of religion among the people. Some of the major theories are animism, animatism, monism, and totemism. The perceptions of people regarding the differences between man and nature are studied first of all. The beliefs in the natural forces and supernatural forces and or being are investigated. Then, anthropology of war. Anthropologists define warfare as armed combat among territorial teams or political communities. Armed combat means fighting with weapons by military organizations. Internal warfare occurs between political communities within the same cultural unit, whereas external warfare occurs among different political communities of different cultural units. In past, anthropologists took little concern with the study of war. But since the mid-20th century, they have begun to turn their attention to study war. Hodgman describes 16 approaches to classify the various studies of primitive warfare. The next, let us discuss on the urban anthropology. The major task of urban anthropology is the study of the urban cities as context. It involves the interaction between anthropology and other disciplines such as sociology and geology. But the urban anthropologists retain their own discipline's flavor, that is, holistic, as well as field-based comparative approaches. During the period of 1920 to 1940, Robert Redfield of Chicago University brought a new perspective to the study of urbanism by sorting out folk-urban model. Urban anthropologists who have done research in Latin America, Africa, and Caribbean have helped improve the issues such as poverty and rural to urban migration. Some anthropologists also focus their research on poverty conditions of many non-Western urban centers. Now let us see what is the subfield of visual anthropology. It deals with the study of human behavior through visual means, incorporating the theories and technologies as developed in anthropological traditions. It aims to record data for future analysis, improve the quality of descriptive ethnography, provide objective views for related cultural studies, and put together a film that will convey the feel of the people. A major importance is the making of ethnographic films, which is a film that reveals cultural patterns. It is different from documentary films, which are intended for a relatively large and uniform public. Ethnographic film is intended for educational use, particularly in cultural anthropology. Now, let us come to the second branches of anthropology, that is physical anthropology. It is a branch of anthropology which attempts to explore human mystery related to their origin, differentiation, diversities, and distributions. With the advancement of genetical science, it becomes more and more biology oriented. And by virtue of it, each area of study got considerable extension. By considering the whole situations, it can be divided into the following sub-branches. Primatology. It is a scientific study of primate group of mammal. Man, the central figure of anthropological study, also belongs to the order primate of animal kingdom. The integrated study of primates in the background of physical anthropology gives an intrinsic value to understand the position of man, that is, the large-bodied, broad-shouldered primate with no tail. Next, human biology. It deals with the concrete biological principles and concepts of man. It is different from the biology of other animals because of the impact of cultural achievement. It is highly influenced by culture as well. Culture sometimes remodel biological phenomenon. Physical anthropologists attempt to understand this biological feature of man and their successive development, changes in structure and function through time. Paleoanthropology. It is the branch of physical anthropology which deals with the documentation of biological history of mankind. It studies on the fossil evidence collected from different layers of the earth. It also attempts to date, classify, and link between human and non-human biological ancestors. Thus, it evaluates the fossil remains found from different sites and establishes their status and evolutionary significance. Human genetics. Genetics deals with the biological blueprints that dictate the inheritance of physical characters. There is a genetic relation between parents and their offspring. The tendency of inheritance of parental character is known as heredity. The heredity and its mechanism must be well understood in order to know the origin and evolution of man. Human genetics is a specialized branch of physical anthropology which reveals the mechanism of heredity of various traits in man. Nutritional anthropology. It deals with the matter related with the nutritional perspectives of human beings and their subsequent growth and development. The population of a country needs proper growth and development. Growth, however, is dependent on two factors: heredity and environment. This branch of knowledge concerns with the impact of these two factors on human being as well. Next, let us see what is medical anthropology. As a sub-branch of anthropology, medical anthropology studies disease patterns and their impact on human societies. Medical anthropologists attempts to bring into light the socio-cultural as well as genetical or environmental determinants of disease within a population through the close study of people and their way of life. This proves very much effective in combating different diseases in human societies. Even though this sub-branch is discussed here under physical anthropology, it can also be discussed under socio-cultural anthropology, depending on the nature of the study and use of the approach. Then, human growth and development. It is another area of interest to physical anthropology in which biological and mechanism of growth as well as the impact of environment on the growth process are studied. Today, physical anthropologists study the impact of disease, population, pollution, and poverty on growth. Detailed studies of the hormonal, genetic, and physiological basis of the healthy growth in living humans contribute to the understanding of the growth patterns of our ancestors and also to the health conditions of the children of today. Forensic anthropology. It deals with the skeletal structures of hominids and the non-hominids to understand the similarities and differences of the body parts. From the skeletal remains, the forensic anthropologists can establish the age, sex, stature, population affiliation, some details of an individual's health and nutrition history, etc. This branch of knowledge becomes very effective in the detection of criminals as well as in the identification of the nature and status of individuals through their biological remains, and hence it is helpful to law enforcement authorities. Dental anthropology. This branch of knowledge deals with teeth and the pattern. The teeth provide the body shape and size as well as food habit and related behavior patterns. The dental morphology helps us to understand human evolution, growth, then body morphology, genetical features, etc. It is therefore a specialized knowledge which attempts to study the distribution of different dental traits among different populations. Ergonomy. This branch of physical anthropology is concerned with the correlation between the static body dimensions and the designing of machine to be driven by man. This branch of knowledge is very important by the very fact that many groups of people differ in body size as a result of varied biological and environmental factors. Demographic anthropology. It is the science of population. It deals with fertility and mortality. These two factors are again influenced by heredity and environment. As it is concerned with the traits like growth, age, sex structure, spatial distributions, migration, in addition to fertility and mortality of population. It naturally becomes a specialized branch of physical anthropology. Next, let us see archaeological anthropology as a third branch of anthropology. Through archaeology, the specialized science dealing with the remains of human cultural activity, anthropologists discover much about human story, particularly prehistory, the long, dim, remote moment when man emerged from animal ancestry up to the existence of ritual records. The archaeological anthropologist differs from socio-cultural anthropologists in two important aspects. Number A, the former studies past cultures while the latter studies present. The number B, the former lacks the advantage of personal contact and interaction with the people he is studying, which the former enjoys. This branch has new subfields. Ethnoarchaeology, the use of archaeology to study ethnography that can be referred to as ethnoarchaeology is a subfield of archaeological anthropology. In a novel approach, still other archaeologists have turned to the very recent past. For instance, study of modern garbage revealing insights of unbiased physical record of human activity has been included as the assignment of archaeological anthropology. Lastly, let us discuss linguistic anthropology. Linguistic anthropology is that branch of anthropology which deals with language. The science of linguistics is mainly concerned with the study of different languages which have their scripts and literary tradition. Linguistic anthropology, the study of languages in anthropological perspective, is concerned with those aspects of speech and language when it becomes across ethnological and ethnographic studies. It has a close relation with the science of linguistics. Linguistic anthropology has the following areas of interest: descriptive or structure linguistics. It deals with the description of languages and compare grammatical patterns of linguistic elements to learn their similarities and differences. It also uncovers some intriguing relationship between language and thought patterns among different groups of people. Historical linguistics. It deals with origin and development of languages by concentrating on the comparison and the classification of different languages. This type of linguistic anthropology research is useful in tracing the migration route of various societies conforming archaeologists and paleoanthropological research. For instance, anthropologists have corroborated the Asiatic origin of many Native American populations through historical linguistics. Socio-cultural linguistics. It is the specialty of examining the connection between language and social behavior. An important proportion that language plays a fundamental role in shaping thought and action of a society is known as linguistic relativity. Then let us see what is applied anthropology. The ultimate aim of the study of man is not only merely acquiring knowledge regarding man, society and culture, but in applying the knowledge so gained in solving the practical problems faced by mankind all over the world. Although many anthropologists believe that applied work can be done within any of the traditional four fields of anthropology, increasing numbers in recent years have come to view it as a separate specialization, just as done in many universities in United States. Now let us come to the conclusion. Anthropology deals with the totalistic study of man, the homo faber, that is, toolmaker. Traditionally, there are four broad branches: socio-cultural anthropology, physical or biological anthropology, archaeological anthropology, and linguistic anthropology. There are also sub-branches and applied anthropology within this tetrafold division. But some of the branches has scopes which may be included in more than one branch. Medical anthropology, for instance, is studied and discussed under both socio-cultural and physical anthropology.